Mariah Carey, Alanis Morissette, Usher, and more.
Hi, I'm still driving. Oh my God, 3 videos in one day, but I'll post them separately. But anyway, I'm driving and I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. But, oh, turn that off before I get one of those copyright things. Sorry about that. See, I got too much on my mind. So, I'm Jenny, Miss Jenny's Cleaning. I also sell on eBay, and I'm also doing Uber now. I'm doing Uber Eats deliveries, and that's how I got the car, but that's not what I wanted to talk to you about today. What I wanted to talk to you about was this thing with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and I'm not going to go through the whole trial and the details of that. We know that Amber lost, and we know that she's got to pay a lot of money to Johnny Depp, and we know that she won her countersuit, but that there were no punitive. And if you want to see all that, the courtroom was covered in detail on Facebook, so all that information's there. But what I wanted to talk to you about was something that's kind of dear to my heart, and I actually have a podcast called I Survived Childhood, and it tells about my personal experience with domestic violence. You know, I got to be careful because of YouTube. YouTube doesn't like those kind of things, but it was the subject matter of that trial. Okay, and so I have a podcast, I Survived Childhood, and it tells my story, and I talk about different things on there, some case studies and things that you go through when you've had that kind of an experience. And so that's what I wanted to talk about. So there seems to be 2 varying opinions that are on the same side of the coin, although from different perspectives. And one is that nobody's going to believe people anymore when they say that they're a victim like that. And the other one is that Amber's done a lot of damage to the steps that have been taken to help with awareness for DB. And so that's mostly what I wanted to talk about. But then one other thing that I think was good that came out of this trial. Before I go into that part of it, though, I did want to say, you know, I'm a little disappointed in Johnny. I mean, he was not an angel, okay? He was not 100%. I don't think that his substance abuse per se made him that kind of a person, although that seemed to be the direction that Amber Heard's team was going on. But there was 2 things. There was 2 things that really upset me about him that could potentially be perceived that way, and I don't think that he did actually physically put hands on her, but there are some things that are indicative, I'll just put it that way, and that was the video where he's slamming the cabinets and breaking glass and things like that. And then Amber did have one of her friends, I think it was a friend, that was testifying that he was there one day when Johnny was mad and he was throwing things. And even he said that, you know, to him that seemed abusive. And, you know, what I know and what I've learned throughout my healing process is that can be an indicator, okay? So I'm just going to say that it can be an indicator, and it really disappoints me. It doesn't mean that somebody actually would cause physical harm to somebody, but those type of things can be used as a way to intimidate, okay? So I just want to get that out of the way. In that videotape, I don't really think that Johnny was doing that. I think he was taking out his frustration on the cabinets, but it could be a trigger, okay? I'll just put it that way. So, and I do believe that the right outcome came with that trial. I don't think that he put his hands on her. I really don't believe that. And I do believe, based on her testimony, based on tapes that she provided, and based on the testimony of everybody involved, that she actually was the abusive person. Okay, so just to get that out of the way. But as far as the damage that was done, I really don't think that we're going to take 10 steps back just because of Amber Heard, where we have to prove that there was abuse, okay? In to the extent that she's claiming that it wasn't enough. I really think that that's just somebody who's licking their wounds and making excuses for why they didn't win, okay? Because clearly, like the assault that she supposedly suffered with a broken bottle. Now, come on, okay? That's, and no medical treatment. That's crap, okay? That's just crap. All right, so to give you an example, like that doesn't happen to you and then you just heal from it a-okay, fine, every day without some kind of lasting physical thing, okay? Just to say it. But so I just don't think that really people are dumb enough to think because Amber Heard sued Johnny Depp and she lost because she didn't prove that he was abusive, that it's 10 steps back for those who really are. I just don't think that our society as a whole is that dumb. I think that things, if somebody's lying about it, I think it will come out in the end. But the good thing that I think that came out of this is that because Johnny told his story, I think it's opening the door for conversations about other groups that are not being represented and not being protected. Men is one of them, but also other groups of people, like in the LGBTQ, that type of violence is very underreported, very underprotected, for the people who are suffering. And the other group of people, or groups of people besides children, there's always children. We always think about children because that's just, they're defenseless. But in the same category would be the elderly or the physically disabled. That that's another group of people that could be potentially abused. One of the people that I've been wanting to do a podcast on is Mickey Rooney. He's passed away, but he actually even went to Congress when he was telling his story of abuse. It's so sad. It is so sad. His story is really, really sad. But anyway, that's when I think. So in the end, I think, truthfully, justice did serve. And my last final thoughts, I know a lot of people are saying, well, Amber just needs the attention with all this follow-up that she's doing, that, with her whining and crying and still blaming and that kind of thing. I went through something very, very similar. Of course, I don't have that kind of publicity. I'm not a celebrity, and the people in my life that were involved in all that, same thing. We're just regular people. But it was so interesting that when my relationship with my abusive spouse ended, and I had gotten over the hump of the devastation that happened, because I was devastated. It was still relentless. They were always looking for some way to harass me or publicly shame me, and all these things. And that's what I think Amber's doing. I don't really think it's for her to get attention. I think it's a last-ditch effort that she's trying to be controlling and damaging to Johnny. That's what I think. That's what I think, and she's just failed miserably. In my own particular case, I think for my ex, he just got bored with it, and I think I also kind of embarrassed him. There was a little lull there, and then he started his crap again one day, and I just said, you know what, my life has been really, really boring, and I like it that way. And he's like, what? I said, I have had no drama whatsoever. It's been really nice for however many months it was at the time, and I'm not into it anymore. I just don't care. And it shut him up, and he left me alone after that. But the weird thing is, as I tell my story, right, because it's all about me, right? Now, it's about victims and what we go through, and that's why I'm sharing this. The weird thing was, like, his wife never gave up. I didn't really have much of a relationship with her, a little bit, and I can go into that for you another time if you're interested. But years later, she still would bring things up, and I'm talking like many years, 10 years or more. And she would bring things up, and I hadn't spoken to this woman in that long. You know, I hadn't seen her, nothing. So it's just weird, like how abusive people are. I don't understand that. You know, it's not, I guess, I don't know. But anyway, that's what I think. I think that we in the end, I think it really has helped to start bringing more awareness to people that are kind of forgotten or not really looked at, that could possibly need some help. As for Johnny and his monster, my opinion is, his therapist will have to take care of this for him, but my opinion is his monster is that thing way down deep inside of him that's telling him that he's not good enough. And let me tell you something, despite all the awards, despite being the sexiest man alive not once but twice, there's a monster in there that's telling Johnny that he's not good enough. And that's why he's into the substance abuses of all the different things that he's abusing, instead of, you know, really taking care of himself. And that's how he got sucked into that relationship, because it was actually probably very familiar to him in a certain way. I'm home. And so I'm going to let you go, and I will talk to you later. And I hope everybody has a great night. Stay safe. And I don't know when I'll talk to you again, but this is crazy, right? Have a good night. Bye.